Welcome to day 4 here on the Isle of Man for the 2022 Manx Grand Prix. A double whammy today with 2 separate road closures in the hope that riders can make up for the lost practice session from Monday. Now, you can look at all the lovely slow-mo shots with fancy music playing over the top you like. But I know what we really want is some noise. So another chance to catch up with the team. This time it's going to be ILR with Mark Coverdale. That's Ian Lougher Racing. Ian's been around forever and a day. Wherever there is road racing, if he's been there, he's probably won there. He's also looking after Francesco Curinga this year. So I'm going to jump in here, catch up with the pair of them, see what's going on. So one of the safest pairs of road racing hands I know is Mr. Ian Lougher. I've been doing press launches on the Isle of Man probably since about 2006, and Ian is always there. Never quite retired, Ian. Not quite the plan that you set out a couple of years ago, eh?
Yeah, no, I sort of retired from the TT in 2013, and then I was going to carry on doing the Manx or the Classic TT. And to do that, you have to do 6 races to qualify for the mountain course license. And so I've been doing that, and then I got called back to ride the Suter 500, and so it's sort of gone from there. So I've been riding one of the Mark Coverdale's patterns, and so yeah, I'm sort of still doing it. I'm still doing my own team manager thing.
And also having a run out on that stunning John Chapman race in MV Augusta.
Yeah, we're riding in John Chapman's MV 500 and the Lougher TZ250 Lougher Racing, and hopefully Chris Key's Ducati 851, which we haven't been able to turn a wheel on yet, but hopefully we'll be able to get out next.
Retirement sounds like it's really suiting you, to be honest.
Yeah, it's, time's dragging on through the week now, and hopefully we can get on it soon, so yeah.
But I think what we'd like to do is look all the way back to the start of your road racing career, which is essentially, in my head, wherever you can run a road race in the world, you've either podiumed or won countless TT wins, but it all started back here in 83 in that newcomer race on the 350.
Yeah, 1983. There was it was just one of those years where there was some quite a full field and good talent. Rob Dunlop ended up winning the race. Steve Ussop second. I was third. I think
what it was a newcomer podium.
Yeah, and also it was Keith Nichols, Gene McDonald was 5th. Ian Newton. There was quite a lot of, it was just a close race.
And a 100-mile-an-hour lap even back then in 83.
Yeah, I think Robert did 105, I did 103, Steve 102-ish. So yeah, quite fast times, but so yeah, and a slower circuit then as well,
And fast forward 24 years, 2017, and Francesco Curinga, who you're kind of mentoring this year, I guess, is that the right word to use on it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
his newcomer year, was 2017, and now he's back on the pattern for 2022.
That's right. Yeah. No, we're trying to support him and bring him on, and he's doing fantastic. Is
there much of a language barrier?
No, his English is very good, but I feel when you talk with racing, you can always use your hands a lot, like Italians.
A little bit of this,
and you can sort of you can get by. You can always seem to understand each other.
And I'm going to speak to him in a second, but how do you think his week's gone so far?
It's gone really well. We said just go out, enjoy. I always say a happy rider is a fast rider, so just go out and enjoy it, and then just gradually get into it. Don't try and run before you can walk, and just let the speed, because the speed in your brain, you get used to going those speeds, and you know, it comes to you. If you try and go too fast, you scare yourself, and then you might as well come back next year, because it's you know, it scared you so much.
I guess it's almost impossible to ask if there's a favourite in that fleet of bikes that you're riding this year, but if you had to pick one?
I'm a two-stroke man, so the TZ250, the Lougher racing's fantastic.
It's a trick-looking thing as well,
it's beautiful, yeah. It's just that class of bike, you know, it's just more or less what I started on, TZ350 and back in the day, and you know, they're more or less the same type of the way you ride them. They're just a fantastic machine. You know.
So I've been asking everyone that I've spoken to, from newcomers to guys like yourself, if there is that one thing about the Manx Grand Prix that keeps you coming back, that you can put your finger on, what would it be?
I think there's a lot less pressure in the TT. You know, the TT is, not that there's pressure from anywhere, but it's much more relaxed, you know. It's almost like people build up to it a bit better, whereas the TT, you've got obviously a lot of different personalities, a lot of BSB riders, and they come with a lot of expectations. Whereas with the Manx, nobody knows how good you'll be or go, and you tend to come here and just enjoy it first. I think that's,
and maybe just enjoy those kind of classic bikes as well.
Yes, yeah. The classic bikes are, you know, something it's they're just old machines, but and quite difficult to ride. You know, the old bikes, although they're a lot slower, they're not an easy thing to ride at all. So it's you know, certainly a good way to go forward.
Well, Ian, I thank you for your time. I know every road racer I know has huge respect for you. I do as well. Thanks very much for talking.
Thank you very much. Okay, cheers.
So from Ian Lougher's 102-mile-an-hour lap in his newcomer race in '83 to the 2017 Manx Grand Prix newcomers race, Francesco finished with 113 miles an hour. Francesco,
hey.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
There might be a little bit of a language barrier here, so we're going to take our time with these questions and start with Manx Grand Prix 2022.
Yeah.
It's good? It's okay?
It's okay for me. I'm very happy to be here after 3 years. For me, a bit difficult to remember the way, but with the team and with Jan Lougher, I'm very calm.
And you have ridden in junior class, senior class, so lots of different motorcycles.
Yeah.
How do you find the Pattern S1R?
For me, is a big bike.
Yep.
A big bike. The feeling is more than I go on the road, and step by step.
Yep.
Okay.
But the choice, CBR 600, Pattern, which one?
For me, Pattern is better.
Yeah.
It's more feeling with the Pattern.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one last question, Francesco. Having Ian Lougher, it's important for you?
For me, is most important to have a great person with Jan Lougher. He have a great experience, and for me this is important. And my mechanics, Michael, is very important. And I thank you all the team and Mark Coverdale. Okay.
Always smiling. Grazie. Buona fortuna.
Okay. Grazie.
So that draws day 4 of the 2022 Manx Grand Prix to a close. The sunset that's going on around us at the minute is absolutely off the chart. It's about 8:30. We've just witnessed the fastest lap of the week from Michael Dunlop, a 1:25.537 on the Suzuki XR69. It tells a story in itself that came after a standing start 124-mile-an-hour lap on a bike that previously, and when I say previously I mean about an hour before, at the gearbox that was in it. The gearbox had been in there for about 8 years, apparently, caught up with the team and got the gossip. So the bike had been sat around for a little while, and then it got the Michael Dunlop treatment. The gearbox let go when the roads opened this afternoon. In between that first session and the second one, they went to work, put a fresh gearbox in it, showed some real faith in that team that Steve Wheatman's put together from Michael to not only do a 1:24 standing start lap, but to then back it up with the fastest lap of the week and the fastest in that classic superbike category. Other notable laps that have come down there in the classic senior race, McGuinness pushed his 109 up into, I think it was a 109.68, but it was great to see Dom Herbertson and James Hillier finally get into complete laps, immediately pushing them to second and third fastest in that class. In the senior class, it was Stephen Smith again. He did 119 point all of the 8s. Everybody said he was going to be the man to beat this week, and he played it coy when we spoke to him in the garage yesterday. But it turns out he's, sticking the numbers in early and setting his stall out for what looks like a really good senior race. In the lightweight class, it was James Hind with a 1:15.588. So I've still got my pint or money on Michael Dunlop coming good on the 250. But those that know around this paddock are all saying that James is the man to beat. I think today was the first day I started to see a few race faces slipping in there. A few people taking this a little bit more seriously than they're making out to me. It was good to see Dave Johnson bang a 1:23 in this afternoon session on the classic superbike, that beautiful ACR Kawasaki ZX-R 750. He decided to take the evening off, give his aging bones a bit of a rest. I'm sure he'll like me for saying that. And also give the bike a bit of a rest as well. If you remember Alistair the other day saying that bike has 1,000-kilometre service cycles, so they're trying to preserve the bike as well as preserve their rider, but he's clearly on the ball with a 123 mile an hour lap. Everything's nice and tight in that junior class. The Super Twins are going out and lapping there or thereabouts the same as each other. Francesco Curinga, who we caught up with earlier, he did 112 in this evening session. Victor Lopez topped the timing sheets with a 114 mile an hour lap. It's great to see him come into Parc Ferme and take a clap and a cheer from everybody in his team and really celebrate the success of putting that lap together this evening. So I wanted today's show to be a little bit more about the noise, and we definitely got some with Richard Wilson. Everything that he rode for me was award-winning today. The Rotary Norton, although it didn't do a full lap for him, it did everything that we needed it to do in terms of making the right sound. He came in after he'd had to park that, it was overcharging. I think he said they've been through 5 batteries on that bike alone this week. The thing was overcharging, so he parked that up and jumped on the little DKW 350. That thing made a joyous racket on the way down pit lane. He wasn't too happy with that lap when it came in either. I think it was an 88 mile an hour lap. Regardless of how fast it went, it sounded absolutely insane and stopped most of the people in the paddock. They just wanted to hear it go. In terms of bringing the rest of the sound to life in today's episode that I wanted the boys to get, I think they've pretty much absolutely nailed it. There should have been some good stuff to listen to all the way through this episode, but I can't not mention the shot that I know they're going to finish with, which is Michael Dunlop on that flying 125 mile an hour lap, absolutely giving it big licks. So that is the end of day 4. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope it sounded a little bit better than it did yesterday. If you're not already subscribed and liking this stuff, make sure you do. And make sure you follow all of the Manx Grand Prix social media channels across Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube as well. Thanks very much.